to Jordan's Journeys YouTube channel. I'm Jordan Thorpe and I am a life coach, author, and speaker. And today's topic we are going to be talking about abstinence. Can I still have oral sex? And I wanted to bring this topic up because as I work with the young girls, this is a question that gets asked a lot. And most importantly, I'm abstinent, so I wanted to give you a little bit of background and share like my personal journey about abstinence in hopes that it can help some of you, especially those who are you want to become abstinent and you know just want to save yourself from marriage. So I've been abstinent for almost 2 years. It will be 2 years in June. And I was very promiscuous growing up, and I really didn't understand my worth. I didn't understand sex, why sex was created. Growing up, I was just always told, like, don't have sex, just get married. But there really wasn't, like, a process of how we get from dating to marriage. What does that process look like? How do we get from no sex to marriage? So I started off early. I was a teen mom at the age of 17, so a lot of this I just kind of jumped off the porch and learned myself. So in the process of finding my worth, finding who I am, and seeking God and learning about relationships, I felt that God was telling me to, preserve myself. Because as He was developing me, molding me, there were certain levels that I could not reach until I dealt with my promiscuity. So it's like, how am I going to take you into these meetings with all these men and these people, and you're just sleeping around with everybody? You have to be disciplined. And my mind was skewed because my mind was viewing sex as the world views it, but it didn't really view sex as how God viewed it until He revealed to me, why He created sex. And as the church culture and like people who are in religion or whatever organization, we don't really talk about sex, but the truth and the fact of the matter is that God created sex, and He created it to be enjoyable, with your spouse, within those boundaries. And that's what consecrates your marriage. That's what makes two become one spiritually. When that person, as a woman, when the person, your husband, enter inside you, that's what creates a soul tie. So you are spiritually connected to this person. And I didn't realize that. Nobody really explained that to me. I just was told, don't have sex. So as I learned what sex was, that this is a spiritual soul tie. So I'm connecting myself spiritually to this person. So each person that I am being intimate with, I am connected to and creating a soul tie spiritually. And that's what creates emotional attachment. And that's what creates false love. That's what creates lust, because there are many instances where we are emotionally connected and attached to somebody, and we wonder why, we can't let it go. It's because you have a soul tie, and you have to break that off. You have to pray and ask God to heal you so you can become whole and move on so He can use you. So as far as oral sex, so God did not create oral sex. God created sex, but not oral sex. Oral sex is man-made. And society has normalized oral sex. And it's something that is very common, but because society has normalized it in this way, our view and our perspective of sex is skewed. It's perverted. And when I say perverted, I mean wrong. Anything outside of the way God originally intended for it to be is perverted. It's wrong. You're viewing it wrong. So until I was able to change my view on sex, I was able to become healed from the bondage that I was in from my promiscuity. So, as far as oral sex is just a way to please the flesh without creating a soul tie. Because you're still getting the same result. And I hope you guys are getting this because I'm not trying to be, too vulgar. But you're still getting the same result from oral sex without the soul tie, without the intimacy from sex. So if you are abstinent and you are participating in oral sex, you're not creating a soul tie. You might create an emotional attachment, but you're not creating a soul tie with that person if you are having oral sex. But with an emotional attachment becomes feelings. We're human, so we have emotions, we have feelings, we have all these things that we still have to try to overcome. And it also becomes a distraction because you're here doing this with this person when God has this for you. There's something just so beautiful on the other side of your obedience and just waiting for God. And during that time, within the 2 years that I've been abstinent, I've just been so focused on everything that he's been telling me to do that your mind is not there. You don't even realize it. That year literally went by. That's when I was starting Jordan's journey. That's when I was doing this and that. So he really graces you in that area if that is something that you truly desire to let go. So I am not here to promote or demote oral sex. I'm just here to give you the facts of how God intended sex. That sex was not something that God created. Oral sex is not something that God created. Sex is what God created, and he created within the boundaries for you to enjoy with you and your spouse. Now, I encourage you all, if you are struggling with promiscuity, to just give it to God. And he will, heal you and renew your minds and grace you in that area and until the time comes forward when it's time for you to get married and move on. I am a living witness. So I encourage you to do that and just be led by the Holy Spirit. I'm not promoting abstinence either. I'm not, it works for me because I felt led to do that. But you have to do what works for you. And I find it that I have a lot less distractions in my life because I'm just so focused, because I don't have these emotional attachments to people, and I can see clearly. I can see people for who they are. I'm not, bogged down with all these emotions and confusion because I have this emotional attachment to someone. And I think that's important for us, especially as a woman, to just be able to see people for who they are before we're giving ourselves away. And that was something that I, had to work on myself. So if you are abstinent and you are questioning oral sex does not create a soul tie. It will create an emotional attachment. It may distract you, but God cannot fully use you as a vessel until you are completely whole and you are filled with the Holy Spirit and not with all these other soul ties. So, I'm not saying that it's a sin or anything like that. I'm just saying if you want to be fully used by God and live a life that, he continues to take you from glory to glory, save yourself. And there is just something so beautiful on the other side. And that is all I have to say about that. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. I do have a book out called Jordan's Journey, Practical Guide for Finding Self and Purpose. To order your copy, the link is below. For any life coaching services, you can visit my website. The link is below. For any of my blogs, I have so many blogs on your inner self, personal development, spiritual growth. You can visit my website as well. My coaching specializes in personal development, spiritual growth, how to become your best self, the best version of you. I work with women, moms, daughters, families. So make sure you check all of that out. All of the links will be in the description below. Okay, bye.